What's up YouTube, ODST General back again, and today guys we're going to be covering some more Starship Simulator. It's been a little bit since I've last done a video on Starship Simulator. There hasn't really been a lot of tangible progress to show off. There's been a lot of updates, but it's stuff that's really hard for me to show in video. There's been a lot of changes to how planets are generated and how multiplayer networking is done, and a lot of stuff like that. You know, it's all a lot of back-end stuff. But as far as the ship and stuff, there hasn't been a lot of major noticeable changes, a lot of small changes here and there, but we're going to go ahead and check that out. Now, before we actually hop into the game, they have a public playtest going, so you guys can all get access to Starship Simulator for a limited time, free of charge. All you have to do is go to their Steam page. So if you have Steam, you go to Starship Simulator, and if you scroll down where it says play the Starship Simulator playtest now, I've got play now, but if you guys haven't already installed it, this button where it says play now will say request access, and all you do is you hit request access. It'll automatically process it, or it should automatically process it, and you guys should have access to this playtest. Now, I believe the playtest is supposed to go for about a month. I don't have all the details right offhand in front of me here, just what I read from snippets in Discord. But this is going to be leading up to a more fleshed out demo with actual gameplay objectives and everything that will be hosted through Kickstarter. So right now this is free, but if you want to actually back and support the game, there's going to be a Kickstarter campaign. Otherwise, this is the same demo build that I had, which is the internal backers build for people who back through like Patreon and stuff like that. At any rate, I want to cut for a second here, and then we're going to hop in game and check out what's available in this current build of the playtest. So I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, and we are back in the opening menu for Starship Simulator. So upon loading in, there's this new menu, new pop-up and everything since we last showed it off. This is basically just saying, hey, this is a tech demo. This is just the basic proof of concept for what the game is going to be. It doesn't have, finished art assets. It doesn't have, gameplay loops and elements and all this other stuff. This is just like the basic, bare bones version of what the game is. So again, new menu and everything. So they've got single player, multiplayer. I think multiplayer was the thing the last time I did a video. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of multiplayer games or anything at this point. I don't know that there's been a lot of advertising, if any, for this playtest as of yet, which is why I wanted to do the video. Obviously, this is something I've talked about a few times. It's a game I'm very excited for personally. It's got a long ways to go before it's finished, but I see so much potential in this. And I've seen Dan, the creator of this game, has been absolutely busting his hump to get this game put together. And not just Dan, but Minor Skills and Claire, the other folks, really everybody who's participated in the project and all the other testers in the community. Everybody's just put so much time and effort and love into this game so far, and I'm really excited to see this finished. And granted, it is a long ways to go, but this playtest is a big, important milestone for that. So yeah, we've got settings and all this stuff in here, and we've got credits, so kind of go through here a little less quickly, but still kind of quick. And yeah, you guys can see basically all the backers and everything there, which is neat. I'm sure most people don't really care about the credits. I'll be honest, I know that. But again, I just want to give everybody at least a brief glimpse of all the people that put in hard work. So loading in, this is, I think, new since the last time we played. I can't remember if I showed this off, but basically this is a conference room that's in here now. We've got, a bunch of stuff. It's all aesthetic right now. This doesn't really do anything or serve any purpose, but it is a nice looking area. So you've got the conference table and all the chairs around it. You've got polarization on the windows. I think this is maybe something we probably showed off. You've got the door controls, so you've got the ability to like frost the windows. And again, I think this is all stuff we've kind of shown off, so I'm not going to spend too much time going through all this here. The biggest changes, again, were mostly back-end changes to the game, which, like I said, stuff like actually finding star systems and stuff like that. Right now we're waiting for them to like re-add in the guns and stuff like that in the NPC crew. The NPC crew are out of the game currently because of switches to locomotion for the player characters and for the NPCs. So they've been out for a little bit. This is the character's current costume. There's going to be a bunch of different uniform types and stuff like that, and so this is just kind of the initial placeholder one. There's a little bit of a bug there that you can see with the name copying over to the top there, but just kind of give you an idea what some of the uniforms might end up looking like in the final game. But there's going to be a bunch of different like department colors and stuff like that. They brought back sticky notes. Sticky notes were taken out of the game for a long time, but now that there's a public test, they start putting the sticky notes on everything. And I'll be honest, it's kind of a silly thing, and it's so minor that it doesn't really matter for a lot of people probably. But I just love the sticky notes. And, you know, engineering really hasn't changed since the last time I showed it off, but, you know, you've got all the panels and all this stuff in here. This all still works. For whatever reason, all the panels are in, like, warning modes. Something must have been tweaked and caused an issue with them. I am getting some frame drops here now that I'm recording with OBS, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's an issue with the game or something with my PC specifically. I haven't had a chance to troubleshoot because I just started recording. I noticed as soon as I started recording, the frames were kind of low. This game is really generally very well optimized, so I'm a little skeptical it's the game, but it could be. But I am aware of it, guys. If some of you guys are noticing kind of bad frames, it's something I've noticed too, and I'm not sure what it is. And I'm not too worried about it. It's not too terribly bad. You know, if it becomes an issue, I'll stop recording and just, I guess, restart. So the bridge has probably seen a few more updates here. I can't remember exactly what I last showed off on the bridge. Now you can sit in the chairs. Kind of a small thing, but also a very big thing for me. I always hated standing up over the consoles working, so actually be able to like sit down on the chairs and everything is nice. This panel here used to be orrery controls for the map. This has been changed to condition, you know, various lighting changes and stuff. Now you could just push R and change the lighting, but I like having access to this as part of a console. Presumably this console is going to see some major updates at some point down the road, and it'll have a whole bunch of different functions that you can probably toggle through and have access to, but for right now it's just the emergency lighting. Of course we've seen the sensors before, and I think I've actually shown off the sensor updates, but there's been a number of updates to the sensors, a little bit on the smaller side, like when you're in a solar system. Now you see the orbital rings of planets in that system. You can see your targets. So what's kind of neat here is, say we target, let's say Jupiter. Now you can see Jupiter there gets a highlighter, so now, if you have your sensors officer and you're the captain or you're the pilot and you spin around and you want to see what's getting targeted, you can now see, hey, Jupiter's our target. So say you're sitting here on the helm. Oh, a little bit of a bug with if you're running or moving and you get in a chair. You know, you can spin around and be like, okay, that's where we're going. And you say, hey, we're going to use that sensor target. And we're going to go ahead and go there. And then you engage the autopilot, or I guess you can manually steer yourself too, but that's probably going to be a lot trickier. And then, you know, you just go, okay, yep, we're aligned to the target. Let's engage the warp drive. And so we're going to jump to Jupiter. We should get there fairly quick. The ship speed changes kind of depending on how far you're going. So if you're traveling longer distances, the ship goes faster. But because we're traveling inside of a solar system, the ship kind of keeps it a little bit slower, relatively speaking, because it doesn't want to just like instantly zip past Jupiter, so it kind of keeps it at a little bit of a lower speed. However, we are continuing past, because our sensor target, I didn't actually look at that, is 000, so we are actually heading towards the middle of nowhere. So the reason that happened is I had Jupiter selected, but I actually forgot to send it as a target to our home. So that's on me. That was my bad. So again, all this stuff work in progress. You can see that on the panels. Of course, even the helm here is still very much work in progress. You see some of the UI elements, like we've got the nav targeting, and you've got your galactic position and the FTL systems and stuff, but obviously like the autopilot and the actual helm controls and stuff don't you know, these are just like placeholder buttons. They're not like fancy controls like this with like the outlines for the box and everything. Your speed, even though you do move with the speed up and speed down, it's not really apparent, and there's no actual change here because this speedometer, I guess if you could call it that, doesn't actually work. It's non-functional. Okay, so we should actually be... So if we use our sensor target, there we go. We've actually got a target, so we've got our autopilot on. So we're going to swing back around, we're going to do a U-turn, and we're going to engage the warp again, and now we should actually head for Jupiter. And yeah, as you can see while we're moving here, you can see the ship actually kind of aligns and moves. So they've changed it a little bit here, the way the ship kind of moves around the map and everything. Not quite as disorienting as it used to be before with a lot of these changes, and having the actual targeting, the sensor target and the nav targeting and stuff is fantastic. Which that's actually kind of a cool thing, is your nav target and your sensor target obviously can be separate things. So you could have one, like this star here is your nav target while sensors are working on scanning the next system or something, and as the captain or commander or whoever is actually looking at the map and figuring out where they want to go next, you can see those targets separately, which is it's a small thing, but it's a nice thing. So you can see here we are approaching back into the Sol system, heading back for Jupiter. And another change, and you guys will maybe have already picked up on this, they've actually now used a list of like known stars and stuff like that. So stars that are closer to Earth that have been named will have their names. So like you've got Bernard Star, and of course the infamous Wolf 359, Borg not available at this time. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So you've actually got all the names and stuff. Now there's no, as far as I know, there's no planet names or anything, so I don't know if there's anything like that that might happen. But yeah, all the stars and stuff, at least a lot of the stars that are named are going to be actually properly named as you go past them. Oh, and there's Jupiter, so you can see us approaching it here. That's actually really cool. I love the way you now approach planets, because it used to be that you just like you'd snap into place in front of them, but now you actually, the way they've got the warp systems and the way it kind of changes speed and stuff as you approach. Now the planets, suns, and stuff like that just slowly, well, fairly quickly, but relative again in terms of speed, slowly grows in the window. And it's just, it makes for a really great sight, especially here from the helm, with these like upper windows and everything here, making for just a fantastic panoramic view. A little less so from the captain's seat, but still fairly impressive. Unfortunately, got the map orrery up right now, kind of dampens things just a teeny bit. Yeah, so I think that's really all there is to show. Again, I mean, we've got a bunch of other rooms and stuff, and there's been a lot of changes. But like I said, just unfortunately not a lot of it's tangible. Now with that being said, again, this playtest is going on for 3 weeks or so. I think there's going to be a build that sounds like at least once every week, with the focus of the builds kind of changing from week to week. So I think the first week is going to be a lot of bug fixes and stuff like that. Then we'll probably see like weapons and locomotion or something kind of get added back in. I don't know if the Kickstarter demo is still the original plan for the demo, which was to have a cold start for the ship. So basically, the ship is powered off, you know, it's really dark like this, and you have to navigate your way down to engineering and kick on all the batteries and everything. I'm kind of hoping that we'll get to see that. We'll have actual objectives and everything. Because even though I've probably done that a bunch of times, you know, just going down to like engineering and having to go to like, you know, the controls down there and actually turn the controls on, and then go to like the battery banks and hook up the battery banks and everything. I still think that'd be pretty neat coming down here, and it's like the ship's just like this. It's pitch black, and you have to turn your flashlight on. And you come down here, and this is you get this nice glow. Again, we've seen before, but you get down here, and you have to come down and either potentially turn on like these bigger hubs, these main distribution frames, or possibly the main control from like up here, and actually mess around with this. But go there and then head it back on out and like go to the batteries that are around here and mess with these battery controls. But alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Again, as I said, there's been actually a pretty decent number of changes, but unfortunately not a lot for me to actually really show off to you guys at this time. Of course, when the Kickstarter demo comes out, we'll probably do another video, so probably about a month or so we'll end up doing another video, I'm guessing. And then just after that, as you know, development continues, as there's neat stuff to show off, I'll continue to show this off to you guys. So again, if you guys want, you can now check this out. It's currently available on Steam for probably about the next month or so, again free of charge. So go check it out, show some love if you guys are into this sort of game. You know, comment or just hit them up. It's a very responsive development team behind the game. So, alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.